Alrighty, welcome to this short video where we're gonna go through the WordPress CMS content management system for the U-CrAc website. Now, throughout the workshop, you will be required to hand in some deliverables. And the way that you're gonna hand them in and document that you have participated in the workshop is through using the U-CrAc website. Now, the website can be accessed through u-crac.dk. And you will enter the front page here. And throughout the workshop, we will also use the website as sort of the way we share resources with you, since you don't all have access to the same Moodle and other intranet resources. So one of the important pages for you to know is this one called Student Resources. In this page, there will be uploaded the slides from the lectures that you'll have throughout the next weeks. And there will be links to some different resources that you can use when doing prototypes and when doing video sketches. As you can see, there is actually already some guides, video guides, and some asset files uploaded here for you to begin to be familiar with using Adobe Premiere, which will be the tool that we will introduce you for in the workshop. And there are some other different tools here to do animation, storyboards, etc. And there is a splash screen here to be used in your final videos to sort of indicate that this is a production made throughout this workshop. But besides that, the website here is also externally oriented. So a lot of the information, which is primarily in Danish due to the case partners primarily being Danish, is actually oriented towards them, towards communicating what is U-CrAc, how do you collaborate, who are you, the students of U-CrAc, who have participated in U-CrAc as case partners, and of course, most importantly of all, the concepts that you guys create throughout the workshop. They can be accessed under this tab called Concepts. In here, you can see from all the previous years of the workshop. The previous years before 2020 has been a wee bit different. This year, the format is oriented towards the design sprint methodology. So bear in mind that when you see different concepts from the previous years, that you cannot take them completely one-to-one as an equal to this year's workshop. But you can sort of see how previous year students have created their own space on the U-CrAc website, describing their cases, describing their concept, showcasing their concept prototype, documenting their design process, the different tools they used. Here it is material storytelling that you will be introduced to throughout this workshop too. And week for week, basically describing how they went through creating rough visualizations up until the final concept video here. And now this short video will introduce you to how to create and edit the U-CrAc website in your individual groups. And that is because that you will have access to, as you can see here under concepts, we already have one. Group one has already been created for you. And each group will already have a post created here. And now the ambition is that you use your individual group pages here to describe both your case, your teammates, your concept video, your design process, where you hand in some of the deliveries of your empirical work, your results from your data analysis, and sort of the reframe design questions, how might we questions in the second week. And also where you showcase your sketches and prototypes of your ideas that have come up throughout the design workshop. And of course, your final video. But to edit this, to actually go in and edit this website, you have to find over here in the site. You can see there is a tab called Administration. And when you press the Login on the Administration tab, you will be sent to this logon page. Now, actually, I already have a logon page opened here in another tab where I have inputted the login information that will be handed to each of the groups through your Microsoft Teams channels on the first day of the workshop. So you just input your username and your password, and you log in. And this is basically the main page of the U-CrAc WordPress CMS. It runs on Wordpress, which is one of the most widely used CMS systems in the world. It runs on very, very large websites like the New York Times, etc., with many, many different plugins. And it just started out as a blogging piece of software, which has then evolved into a fully fledged, very advanced piece of websites, backend software. Here in the front page, you don't have to look at this as much. This is mainly statistics and analytics. And due to your user being a bit restricted, so you don't accidentally delete something you shouldn't delete, your main concern will be up in this tab here called Posts. You can see if we press this one, you will have an overview here where you can see that Group 1, whom I logged in as, already has a post created. So you don't need to create any new posts throughout the workshop. Just use the one already being made for you. And this is the one you will edit. And now you have two options of editing. You have the block editor, which is the modern way of editing. And you have the classic editor, which more resembles a classic word processing editor. Whichever one you use is completely up to you. We won't judge what you do here. But for now, and for this short video presentation, we will use the block editor, as you can see, which is already selected. So you press your, sorry for the email, you press your Group 1 here, and then we're actually flying more or less. You can see we come in here, and you see that you have your title. This was what we actually saw on the concepts webpage. You can see that's what actually is written here. Group 1, that corresponds to this title up here. So if I chose to change this, maybe I change it to Group 1 2020, then I will have changed what will appear on the other side as soon as I press the update, the blue update button up here. So let's just try to show you here how we quickly do something, changes here, we update the web page, and lo and behold, now it has also updated on the website. So it is basically that easy. And now I have written a few guiding things here where we sort of emphasize the structure that you could use on the website. You can't break the structure. You can definitely do your own way of structuring this stuff, as long as you remember that there needs to be these deliverables that have been highlighted here. They need to be represented on the web page, but you don't have to index it in days. You can see previous years has maybe indexed it in weeks, week 1 and week 2, and then made larger sections instead. But when editing a page like this, you can see that we can actually just click on these blocks, and you will get some editor features that resembles more or less what you know from a word editor. You have things about text alignment, things about bolding, italic, inserting links, and you have some options of duplicating elements. If you have some setups of headers, etc., that you want to duplicate, then you can of course do that. You can also go in here and edit it as a HTML. You can see then you get the HTML tags here. For those of you who know HTML or want to edit some specific things where you want to change things, that can be an option for you. But besides that, you can just, again, click up on these dotted lines to see the menu and then just go back to edit it visually. Now the blocks here are draggable. So you can actually see here, you can drag and drop your blocks. You should be able to. Oh, yep, you could. Drag and drop them to basically just sort of place them wherever you want them to be. So that again, you can create your content and you can manage it whichever way you want. And you can see here, you can also, when you press a heading here, you can change your different heading types. So you have some style sheets that you can work with. And that's the basic of it. And you can see every time that I select a block, which these squares are called, I will get an option over here in the right-hand side of the screen to see the meta editing features of this block. Here you can see I could, for example, change how would the font size be of this block. Should it be normal, small, or huge, for example? And we can change some color settings of the background and text colors. And if you want to do some custom cascading style sheets, some CSS, you can also do that. But that is what is for each of the different blocks. And now you can see as I hover around here, there is a plus icon. There's also a plus icon up here. They correspond to that you can add a new block. So let's say down here in my design process that I wanted to add a block where we had an image from the process. Let's say we wanted to add that. We can press the add block, and you can say I get a pop-up here. I get my most used blocks, and I get a few categories, widgets, embedding elements if you want to embed from YouTube, which you're probably going to do, or maybe from Instagram or Twitter or whatever you might want to embed. There are also different layout blocks, which you, like I inserted here a page break. You shouldn't probably do that. Let's go back here again. But some different ways of creating layout. You can make a page break so it actually skips a page, or some different columns, whatever might benefit your way of setting up the web page. There are, of course, some limitations in the website itself. But let's say I want to insert an image here. So I press the image, and you can say, okay, I got it there. Maybe I actually want it below, so I can just drag my element below here, like that. And you have access to, as the role you have been assigned on the website, that you can actually upload directly to our web server. But be mindful, be very mindful what you upload. Don't upload sketchy files or anything like that. Upload image files that you've captured from your camera, your phone, and stuff like that. Don't upload weird stuff. We have had some unfortunate incidents in the past, so please be a collective and protect the access you have been given to the website. Because it's really easy to upload things. Just press the upload here, and let's say I have an illustration here that I want to put on the website. You can see my image is now uploaded. And you can see again over in the block settings here, I get some settings to actually manipulate the size of this object. If I wanted to adjust it, I can also fine tune the adjustments here. And I get the ability to enter a caption if I want that. And I can change it, of course, also to be a link to a URL if I want that. And you can again custom CSS it. Up here in the image alt text, you basically tell the metadata what the image is about. So that is if you're having a person who have problems seeing and have a computer to read aloud what's on the website, this will tell what's on the image. So it's a very good accessibility feature to remember, and it's also somewhat good for the search engine optimization of the website. So this is pictures from the U-CrAc workshop, like that. Not the best text ever. But now we have uploaded some content, and you can do this both inline, and you can do it also by basically pressing the dotted lines here, and you can add a block before or after whichever block you are working with here. So you can see it's really easy when we use these blocks to make a very editable website. The one thing I would like you not to change is this block up in top here, the one called Read More. That enables us to make sure that your entire web page doesn't come here, but there instead is a continue reading sign here, so we can have your concepts neatly placed on the website. And now, this is actually a lot of the workflow. You will be continuously logging into the website. You will be beginning to edit this. You will add content. You will edit it, and you will update. And when you've updated it, you see it's saving now. The files on the website here will also gradually be updated to represent your process. So your case partners can afterwards go back and see the process. We, as your teachers, can see your process, and you can pass the workshop. So lo and behold, there will be glory days. So one of the deliverables you have to hand in is not just text or images of your process. It is also video embeddings. And we recommend that you upload your video sketches to YouTube. Here we have a YouTube. Here we have a video guide that I've recorded for the workshop. And there are multiple ways of embedding a YouTube video. On older versions of the CMS systems, you would have to go in here and actually do some custom HTML code. So you'd actually have to go in on YouTube up here, press share, and then press this one called embed or inlayer, and actually copy paste this HTML code, this frame of code here. But you can just, it is basically just copy and paste code. And you would get something like that. You can see if we preview it, it would convert this HTML into an embedded video. You can completely do that, and then you can fine tune everything. But it is so that the new version here of WordPress actually have a very nice feature where you can just search for YouTube, press that, and you won't even have to do all of this embedding stuff. You can just take the link up from the top of your website and actually enter it directly in here, press embed URL, and you can see what it does is that it actually creates some more smarter resizing options here. So if I pressed update now, you see that we now have our images and we have a concept video. You would do the same thing with your visualized concepts if you used video down here. And then if we update our website now, you will see we now have a video embedded too. Very neatly. The last thing that you could consider is that we've only touched upon the blocks by now, but you can see up here in the right hand corner, there is also a tab called document. If you press the document, you'll see you have some different meta configurations of your site. You might want to do it that it's not publicly available right now. If you don't want anyone else than the U-CrAc insider team to be able to see it, you can edit that. You can also edit the permalink. The permalink is basically how it will be represented up here in your browser tab. You can see right now it has a very generic name, group 1-2. But whenever you come up with a concept name, who knows what group 1 will come up with in this workshop. But let's say you came up with a name called Awesome Service. All caps, of course. Then you could both change your group name to group 1 Awesome Service or your case partner's name. But you can also change the permalink here, and then you'll see the link will actually be ucrac.dk/awesome service. So this makes the URL much easier to remember. So it might also be that if you had a case partner, actually use the case partner's name in the URL to make it a bit more desirable to them and see, okay, you actually customize the website to accommodate that they are your case partner. We have some categories here. You shouldn't meddle too much with them because they are already inserted to be that you are part of every year and the 2020 year of the workshop. What you might want to do is that you might want to go into this featured image here. The featured image is basically when you are on the website, and you can see here that right now there's a placeholder, U-CrAc 2020 here. But you can see the previous years have custom made their own banners. Some have even made GIF files, I could see there. And you have the option to do that. Right now it's actually just loading. I don't know why. Let's just try to press update here. Update our browser. Let's see. Okay, it just circles back. Let's try to remove it. And you can see here you will get the option to then set the featured image. And we can choose to upload one. Let's upload this one called U-CrAc banner, just to show you. You can see we get the photo here, and you just press select. And there you go. Then now we replace it with the old image, but you get the idea that when you're ready, you probably shouldn't do this before week 2 of the workshop. You can insert your own image here to make it look more like the previous years, to sort of take hold of the brand of your new concept that you have developed. And make sure regularly to press update or save as draft, switch to a draft, so you make sure that the editing that you have made is at least saved. And that's actually the basics. You can play around with the different ways of using blocks to do some different widget effects and etc. I won't go into that now. But this is the basics of how to edit in the WordPress CMS for this year's U-CrAc Design Sprint workshop. A more advanced feature that we haven't gone through, which some of you might be interested in if you have some time throughout the workshop, is the search engine optimization. So if you find a good idea and you want it to actually be found by search engines like Google, you can go down here in our plugin and maybe change the metadata. That is what you actually see, the few lines of text in a Google search. And you can change the index, the title of the page also. But the most important one is actually this meta description here of your text. And you can insert some different, you can insert a different title tag, etc. You can edit these things if you want to, but it's not a requirement. But you can edit the search engine optimization, the very basics of it at least, if you want to. But for now, this was a quick run through of how to edit your text blocks, how to insert images, how to embed your video files, how to save it, and how to custom make your feature image banner here on the U-CrAc website found on ucrac.dk. And be sure to check back on the website regularly throughout the workshop for the student resources, and be sure to collaborate so it is not just one group member who is responsible for the website. It is your main hand-in page to actually pass this course. So I think that was that. Happy U-CrAcing out there, and good luck with the rest of the design sprint.